Hey you, welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
I'm wife.
And together we're reading the Bible.
Starting with Genesis and eventually ending with Revelations, we're working through every book and offering our atheist 2 cents.
Or shekels.
Yeah, those. We're asking questions and pointing out all the nonsense.
We aren't academics or scholars.
Nope. In fact, when it comes to religion, we really don't know anything at all.
What we've learned so far is that God's a dick.
Oh, he really is, isn't he? If you're interested in how we reached this startling conclusion, maybe start from episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in anywhere. It's all good.
Yep.
Hey wife, we just got a new sponsor. It's Anchor. They must think we're doing something right because they picked us back up.
That's amazing. Want to hear something even more amazing?
Yeah?
I actually know what they are.
You are full of shit. I'm calling your bluff. Tell me about Anchor.
Okay, so Anchor by Spotify is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place.
I'm actually surprised you knew that, but did you also know that Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer?
Yes, because I see you do that on your phone all the time and it looks pretty simple.
It really is, and when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
But I use CastBox.
Yeah, darling, I know you like CastBox. It gets distributed there too, and lots of other platforms as well.
And how much are we paying for this awesome service?
Absolutely nothing.
Coolio! So then we should tell people to download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started?
Yep, do it now.
Hello, husband.
Hello, wife.
Are you ready for a Q&A?
I am.
Well, that is convenient because I have a Q and I also have some A.
That's awesome. You know what I have?
What?
Jack shit.
Nice.
Yeah,
well
Jack
done.
and shit.
Well, that's 2 things.
Nothing.
Of nothing. So, you know how we've been covering Moses a lot?
I do. I do know how we've been covering Moses a lot.
And how he's been telling a lot of the rules and stuff. Like, before I die, when you guys go into Canaan and steal all that land over there.
Here's some more rules for you.
Here's some more rules.
Yeah, I know. I know about that.
Okay. So, in Deuteronomy Chapter 7, at the end of verse 5, he said, cut down their Ashera Poles and burn their idols.
The fuck's a Ashera Pole?
We literally said that.
I know.
So
I know, and that's what we're going to talk about, right?
That's what we're going to talk about.
Ashera Poles.
Ashera.
Ashera. I knew that.
You didn't.
In no way whatsoever.
Yeah, you didn't know that at all.
Yeah. Ashera Poles. Okay.
Not pools.
What?
Poles.
Poles.
You said pools.
Well, I meant poles.
You're dumb.
I'm from Ohio.
Oh my God.
So, you know,
that's
you gotta cut me some slack.
That's your excuse for everything?
I mean, only when it's bad.
Only because Ohio is starting to swing red?
Something like that, yeah.
It thinks it's Kentucky or something.
Right. Did you know that there was this there was this meme about putting cheese on your... Was it cheese on your apple pie?
On apple pie. No, cherry pie.
Cherry pie.
No, wait. No, it was apple pie.
No, it was pumpkin pie.
Nuh-uh.
Whatever. It was some kind of pie you put cheese on. They were like, they do this only in Ohio. And I was like, wait a second. We suck at a lot of things, but not that.
We don't
put cheese on that shit.
Pie. No.
That is wrong.
No.
That is wrong.
That's disgusting.
Sometimes they try to make us out to be worse than we are.
And we don't need any help.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's go talk about Ashera Poles.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so what is an Ashera pole?
Pole.
Not pool.
Pool.
Pole. You're dumb. It's a sacred tree or pole that stood near Canaanite religious locations to honor the mother goddess Ashera, who was the consort of El.
Okay. Oh, I remember El.
Yeah.
Kind of. In a roundabout way.
He was the thing that was like Elohim or
Right.
Yahweh, like all of those guys
That's
are like
right,
the
that's
same, but not the same depending on which group.
Sure.
So when I said sacred,
Obviously not the same enough because they
Right.
killed all of them. So
right. When I said sacred tree or pole,
Yeah.
I have an asterisk next to that. I'm going to get back to that in a minute.
okay.
Okay. So the Asherim were also cult objects related to the worship of Ashera, queen of the heavens. And in this particular case, she was the consort of either Baal or Yahweh.
Wait, what? Baal or Yahweh?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Right?
Okay.
So El, Baal, Yahweh. And so you see where this is all going, that the Ashera poles were objects of contention among competing cults.
Got it.
So
Okay. So it's...
not just overlapping cults, but directly competing cults.
Right.
So are you with me?
I'm with you. Sorry,
Okay.
our cat just knocked something over, so...
Oh, well,
in
it'll
another
keep.
room.
It'll keep.
I'm sure.
So I thought this was really interesting. Some scholars have found an early link between Ashira and Eve.
Really?
Yeah, because they both shared the common title of Mother of All Living.
Huh.
So a mother goddess appears in a number of other sources under these names, which are all very, very close to Ashera. So
Okay.
it just depends on like which peoples, which
Right.
locations.
Right.
They all
Colloquialisms of a god.
yeah, they all had some version of Ashera. It was Asratu, Aserdu, Asherdu, Asertu, and Atiratu.
Okay.
Atiratu.
Sounds like that part from Evil Dead where he's trying to say get the book off the thing without
Chew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just thought, like, she went by so many different titles. She was like Queen of the Heavens and Mother of All Living and just a goddess and
I think it's
a
interesting
consort.
that she's tied to Eve in some way, and here the Israelites are destroying these Ashera poles.
Right. Well, okay, so a little bit more on that in a minute.
Okay.
Remember I said I had an asterisk next to the sacred tree or pole?
Yeah.
So there's questions about the translation of that word.
Okay.
And so sometimes it was translated to pole. Other times it was translated to groves, like a group of trees.
Got it.
Or just the word tree.
Okay.
So the reference that's being made is to objects of worship that were made of wood. Okay. So rather than just a transcendent figure in and of itself.
Right.
So whether it was a tree itself or something that was made from a tree, it was always some type of wood object.
Got it.
And the different cults, they would decorate her and celebrate her in different ways. Like there's one that had a like the tree of life on her swollen pregnant belly.
Okay.
And we're gonna run into this word again further in the Bible, and sometimes they will actually be erecting these poles as part of worship.
For Israelites? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah. But
That's
sometimes
weird.
they'll be taking them down, and sometimes they'll be building them.
That's really odd.
Yeah. Because she's sometimes equated with the mother of all living things. Okay. You know what I mean? So, and also
but
because of the neighboring.
These would be considered idols, though, wouldn't they?
Yes and no. The same way you could ask of a Catholic, is a statue of Mother Mary an idol? Or these burning candles an idol. You know what I mean?
Okay.
To somebody outside, yes, it would appear that way. But to somebody inside the cult, no, they're not idols. They're part of the worship.
Okay. I'm interested to read the sections that have that, because that's interesting.
Right? Yeah. There's apparently this word is mentioned over 20 times in the Bible.
Huh.
In the Old Testament.
Got it. Right.
So, yeah, I didn't write down which
sections had it.
Yeah, because spoilers, right?
Right. Yeah, we can't do spoilers.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen.
But it's a curiosity to me that they come up multiple times and that they sometimes erect them, apparently.
Yeah.
That's That's really interesting.
Right?
Because it seems counter to what we've learned so far.
Right. Exactly. I couldn't really get a full grip on this because it was like, is she a good guy? Is she a bad guy? You know, because she's like with El. She's with Yahweh. She's with Baal.
Well,
you know?
and El and Yahweh both have ties to God.
Because sometimes they're the same guy, and then sometimes they're not the same guy.
Right. So, I mean, I would imagine in these times that there's probably a lot of subcategories of different religious sects because you don't have television and radio to co-opt these ideas into one idea. Right. Even today we're very broken up about what one religion is versus another religion. So exactly. I mean, even within the same religion there's arguments.
I mean, how many different types of Christianity are there?
Oh my God. I mean, we could probably go on all day if you break it down into subsects and different things like that. So right. I mean, yeah, there's a ton.
Now, I in the course of my vague, mild research, my little 45 minutes of Google foo or whatever you call it.
Just to satiate our curiosity a little bit.
Yeah. So in that little bit of research that I did, I got to see a lot of different old relics.
Yeah.
That were dug up in archaeological digs that had various forms of this entity or deity. And what was interesting, there was one piece that had her the triple goddess. Yeah. And she was with 3 different people.
Okay.
And I thought that was really cool. What on earth? And then there was also different versions of the tree of life is associated with it.
That's very interesting. Because the tree of life has definitely permeated today's culture. At some level. I'm not saying it's overwhelmingly in our culture, but
we love jewelry with the tree of life.
Right, sure. Yeah, I mean, you can find that at any fair.
Any craft fair, any Renaissance fair. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting how bits and pieces of this filter through, and I think that's, to me, what's most interesting about the little tidbits that we get about these other religions that, the Israelites are destroying or whatever the fuck they're doing. Right. And it's that I could very happily go down the rabbit hole with one of these subsects of a religious cult and learn all about it, and that would be so interesting to me. And I think at some point we should do some of that. I think that's really some of these historic cultish things that grew out of that time frame that the Bible grew out of are very interesting.
Right.
And maybe telling of some things that were, that we still deal with today even.
Right.
Because they had to co-opt these people into their beliefs or kill them. And obviously they didn't kill everybody, so they co-opted a lot of people.
Yeah, and the stories got interchanged and, much like the Greek and Roman gods, how there's an equivalent for almost every single one of them, but then there's some standalones from each.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the way these earlier ones were, but less organized.
Yeah, no, I mean, just the fact that, we've talked about it before, how, there's very pagan things in Christianity, like Christmas trees and just different things like that, know, and, if we dug enough, and we could do this the rest of our lives probably, but if we dug enough, we would find some of these things in these other cults that existed in that time.
Yep.
And that to me is very, very interesting. And it's one of the things that kind of led me down the path of curiosity about religion.
Right.
Because it's not just religion, it's history.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not the faith and magic part of it. It's the historical context and sociology of the people themselves, not the worshipy part of it, but the people,
right,
and their thought process.
Yeah, and if there was anything I was going to be in another life, it would be a history teacher. So it's true. One of the things that just like that really is part of the reason that I enjoy doing this podcast is because it is history, but it's not, but it is history.
Yeah,
you know, like we're learning about cultures that still exist today. But we're learning about cultures from the past that still affect us. But the thing is, almost all cultures of the past, in some way, affect us still today.
Yep.
It's just a matter of how and how much.
Yep.
So.
Well, to get back on track.
Yeah, sorry. I went down a rabbit hole there.
So did I. No, it's fine. Some of the trees that were part of the Ashera worship were grapevines, pomegranates, walnuts, myrtles, and willows. You would find any of those type of things, any of those trees.
Got it.
Might be associated with an Ashera pole.
Okay.
And her symbol, Ashera's symbol, or things, images that might be associated with her, particularly in art and the little idols that they built and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've already mentioned the tree of life. Another one is the peace dove.
Really?
Yeah. So
really?
Yeah. So there were some scholars that were suggesting that that she represented. Okay. Let me backtrack.
Okay.
The peace dove is often associated with, you know, how God is the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Right.
So the dove is often associated with the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
I don't know why. I know that that's a thing.
Okay.
And because of that, that's another thing that they believe is a holdover that kind of got
mixed in.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Another one is a lioness. She was considered a lioness.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Right. Right.
That one was less interesting.
Yeah, that's less interesting.
So a lot of the Israelite peoples had household shrines or figurines of Ashera.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Then God should have smote them.
Smoted.
Smited. I can't ever get that right. I don't know what the word is. Smote?
Yeah.
Smote them.
Yeah. It's smote. Yeah, so...
If you got them, smote them.
Oh, my God. You're stupid. That was a bad pun.
That was really bad.
That wasn't even a dad pun.
I'm sorry. That was so bad.
Yeah, so a lot of Israelite peoples had those. So that's why they were always going on and on and on about...
Ashera Poles?
Not just Ashera Poles, but idols in general.
Got it.
Because
it just never went away.
It didn't. But usually the Ashera was worshipped within the household. Like they wouldn't go out of the household to like go worship at a church or a congregation or...
Obviously, somebody will fucking rat you out.
No. But even that aside, like a lot of times when people would worship other gods, they would go to a place.
Okay.
Like go to a place of worship or a shrine or...
This was something more personal.
This was something that it was more the women did it in the home.
Okay.
And because she was also a fertility goddess and just a matriarch, like how you would think of, like how the Catholics would think of Mother Mary today, or how we might think of Eve or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the mother of all.
Right.
So the women would have these things in their home. And so the men might not even know about it. And so when Moses is preaching, so you've got the religious factor over here with Moses saying, get all of the idols of all these people, get them gone. And then you've got the archaeological side of it over here. And we know that the women had these in their household.
Got it.
So I found that like the clashing of the patriarchy versus the matriarchy.
Yeah.
Even back then,
right,
was a thing.
No, that's
was always a thing.
That's interesting,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah. And they would do offerings to the their idols.
Yeah, it's so counter to what we've learned in the Bible,
right?
And it's just kind of funny to me because they had them apparently, and I'm like, okay, so that was wrong.
Yes,
ish,
because it was also accepted.
Right. No, there's just so much we can't ever know about the whole fucking story. Because
see, to us, we're reading it as black and white, and he's saying, get rid of these, right?
Yeah.
God is saying, get rid of these.
Right.
But to the people, these might have gone hand in hand.
Sure. It was just part of their daily rituals, not necessarily...
Yeah.
It wasn't another god. It was just part of their... It was their good luck charm or their something.
Well, not only that, but, God is God and he is the father, right? But obviously there's also a mother. You know what I mean? So they might not have seen these as clashing items because she was also seen as God's consort. Well,
and as the Bible has been rewritten, we don't know that this wasn't part of the original oral history.
Right.
It
clearly
like
was.
They were erecting them at some points and taking them down at others. So.
Right. It clearly was part of the original story because she was the consort of all these various godfathers.
Right.
And, the holy father of all God,
So what you're really saying is we could live in this world for like months and dig into this and find out so much more.
Pretty much.
But we don't have time for that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, but I thought it was kind of cool because I didn't expect to
find so much information on that thing that you just were like, hey, let's look into that.
Yeah, not only that, but I didn't expect to find a little bit of like a feminist bent to it.
Right. No, that's definitely always interesting.
That's always fun for me.
In the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm glad we learned about Ashera Poles then.
Yeah. Poles. It's like you're from Canada. You're saying it wrong. Why do you do that?
I don't know, eh?
Oh, my God. I can't with you.
I did that all wrong because I don't know. I can't do a Canadian accent.
You can't do any accents.
I can't.
You really can't. You're like the quintessential white guy.
I'm sorry. That's just a general apology overall. So.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, all right. Tomorrow is our wrap-up. So, we got our, weekly wrap-up tomorrow, and then we'll see everybody else that's doing the dailies with us on Monday for Deuteronomy, I think it's 10. Is that 10? Correct?
It is chapter 10.
Chapter 10. Yes. Deuteronomy chapter 10. My gosh.
My gosh.
I'm glad I got my wife here to correct me.
Well, I'm glad I'm here to keep you straight.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye.
Hey, wife.
Yes, husband.
Did you know that we are now on Patreon?
Yes, because you told me, but also, no, tell me more.
So we're on Patreon now.
Are we?
We are. And our supporters can go there and support us, and we have multiple levels all the way up to You Killed God.
That sounds really drastic and escalated quickly-ish.
Well, no, there's multiple levels before there. So it escalates on a sliding scale of, cheap to not cheap. Oh. But, we can definitely use any amount. So, any support is always appreciated.
So what exactly is Patreon?
It's a place where you can show your support for our podcast. And
just our podcast?
Any podcast or any performer. But, we're the ones that, you're listening to right now. So maybe you should, support us. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. But we love you anyway.
So all you got to do is go to Patreon, look up Sacrilegious Discourse. It's actually patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse is our actual main page there. So head on over and send us some love.
Yeah. Husband, it's the friend.
It is indeed, wife.
Tell the people where they can contact us.
Well, they can get a hold of us via our email, which is sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. We have Twitter at sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh, why do you know? Why do you keep doing that? Ugh. All right, we have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and a Pinterest page. But if you really want to get our attention, Twitter's where it's at.
Twitter is where you're at.
Yeah.
And they should also review, like, and subscribe, yeah?
Definitely. Apple Podcasts reviews help us out tremendously. And we also can use your support on Patreon, which is a great place to support us as well. That would be at patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse.
Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.